Hey, Josh Tigg, Running T Farms. Evening, almost cattle move. We've had some wet weather. I had these cattle spread out here so we wouldn't make a mess in the ground. They've got enough forage probably to last them on into tomorrow sometime, and then we're going to get the stock density back up and try to start harvesting some more of this stockpile a little more efficiently. So I had several people ask about season-long stockpile, and we've just now, right before we had this big rain event, got the cows out of the active grazing portion of the farm. Everything that we had grazed up until now was what we had been grazing throughout the year during the grazing season. So this is part of the farm here that was deferred a whole growing season. So we haven't grazed this entire growing season, and I'll give you a little look here of what a lot of Kentucky 31 fescue looks like that's been allowed to stockpile all year. A tremendous amount of feed here. I actually brought the old grazing stick out just because I couldn't remember exactly how many pounds of forage. So that grazing stick is 36 inches tall. I don't have it stuck in the ground. I just set it down here at this grass. So you can see we've got a good solid, really 36 inches, probably more than that in some areas of forage here. So let's just call it 30. That's a fairly conservative number. And if we look here, and we've got definitely 90% ground cover here. So we've got excellent ground cover. And then if we flip it here and look at cool season grasses, it says 350 to 450 pounds of dry matter per inch of height per acre. So, we've got somewhere around 380, 390 cow days per the acre. If you figure about 35 pounds of dry matter for each cow, which is probably over figuring it just a little. But what that amounts to is we have enough grass on 1 acre to graze 360 plus head of cattle for a day in this stockpile. And I know everybody says, well, yeah, but there's a lot of there's a lot of poor quality forage in there. This stuff is so tall I can't even hardly walk through it. So there's some stuff that's a good 4 feet worth of grass there. But I want you to look, there's a lot of green in here. And when we get the stock density up, when the ground dries out just a bit, we'll be able to harvest this very efficiently. Probably, I'd say up close to 85, 90%. And we haven't, but they're eating this. Here's some manure. It's been rained on. That's a day or two old, but it's indicative of the manure that they're going to make in here. So yeah, the quality is not as high as it possibly could be with other methods of accumulating stockpile, but we've got 360 plus animal days to the acre stockpiled here, that if we graze it non-selectively and we make them eat all this, just a tremendous amount of forage. It's definitely good enough forage. These are actually lactating cows here. It's got calves. They're carrying on like they need to be moved, but you can see their bellies are nice and full. They just expect to be moved when I'm out here. But it kind of underscores the importance of getting your production, matching up with your forage. So this is the last time that these cows right here will be bred in the fall. We're transitioning to May calving, late spring, early summer, whatever you want to say, calving. And yes, we're in the fescue belt, but with the introduction of these Mashona genetics, we got real good breed up on that cross right in July and August. So we don't think breed up is going to be a problem. They handle the heat well. But what it is going to allow us to do is be able to use this a little, and so this stockpile here is probably, if you took all that, we try to think about this stockpile like a feedlot would think about a total mixed ration. So if we just let them go in there and selectively graze all this best, greenest part of this fescue, animal performance would probably be really, really good, but we would probably would only get 25% of the usage of it. So we would go from say 300 days cow days per acre down to 100 or something, and that's a big drop in how many animals you can carry through the winter inexpensively, which is what we want to do. So when we've got dry cows or very late lactation cows that we can dry off, we can wean their calves if we need to, if they would start to lose condition on this forage, which this forage here, you can see we have peak lactation cows grazing this forage right now, and they're maintaining their body condition pretty well. So by having dry cows and grazing this stockpile, we can carry a tremendous number of animals through the winter at a very low cost. And yes, we're going to graze our yearling calves, and our finishers are going to graze right on through the winter with this. We're actually going to be pulling the bulls out of this last little group of our fall cows here in about a week or 10 days, and we're going to get the whole herd back together. The yearlings, some finishers, and our spring calving cows will all be back in one herd as soon as we pull the bulls, which is the way I like it. I like them all in one herd. So we're going to graze all those right on across this stockpile all winter. And we're not expecting to blow out and set records with gain through the winter on those yearlings and then some of our coming 2-year-old finishing animals. But what we are going to do is we're going to winter them very inexpensively. They're going to be grazing grass all winter long. We're not going to be feeding any hay short of tremendous ice storm or a blizzard. We have plenty of grass to graze all winter long. And as long as we can keep those yearlings and finishers gaining at a decent rate through the winter, if we can keep them at 3/4 to a pound a day, which we should be able to do on this, we'll get some compensatory gain on them in the spring, and then when the grass greens up, we'll be off to the races again. So it's the best system I've seen. This this area that we've allowed to stockpile all last year, it'll be in the active grazing portion of the farm next year. So we're going to have, you can see here, I did get a decent amount of stock density one day before the big rain. So you can see good manure and urine distribution here. And, this grass is just going to really take off next spring. It had a whole growing season to charge its roots up, get some really nice deep roots down. And we've found that when you do that, it just, the next year, it's just like pouring gas on a fire. By giving it that whole growing season off, coming across it at high stock density in the winter, it just really takes off that next year. We'll graze it non-selectively during the growing season next year, and then it'll be allowed to stockpile again. So I hope that answers you guys' questions that was asking about season-long stockpile. Sure, you give up just a bit on the quality, but you've got 3 to 4 times the quantity. And if you get the right type of cow and the right production cycle in sync with that, it enables you to carry a large number of animals through the winter very inexpensively, which is what you need to do, in my opinion. So hope everybody has a great day. As always, you can check us out online at runningtbeef.com. You can like us on Facebook at Running T Beef. If you're watching on YouTube, please be sure and click that like and subscribe button on the way out. And hope everybody has a fantastic weekend.